At night.
11:50.
If you would like to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you and welcome. Good to see you all here tonight. We need to start with a roll call. Ms. Harris, will you help us with that?
Yes, Mayor. Everyone is present and we have a quorum.
Excellent, thank you. We do need to amend the agenda. Just one little thing. We have a new police officer that we need to swear in, so we'll do that under public hearings. And so if we can add a swearing-in ceremony and make that addition, and with that I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda with that addition.
I'll make that motion, Your Honor.
Mr. Willing?
I'll second it, Your Honor.
Mr. Schmidt seconding. Any discussion on the motion? If there is none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? We have an agenda. We have the City Council minutes for April 1st and the work session minutes for April 8th. Any questions or concerns regarding those minutes? If not, we will acknowledge both of them as they're prepared, and we will go on to the bills. Questions on the bills?
Fairly large sum.
I'm sorry?
Fairly large sum this month.
Yeah, that's true. I'll entertain a motion to approve the bills.
I'll make that motion, Your Honor.
Mr. Perks, the motion. Is there a second? Mr. Sellers, seconding. Any discussion? There's no discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed? Takes care of the bills. Revenue and expenditure report for January. Questions, comments, concerns on that report?
I'll make a motion that we approve.
Mr. Perks, motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Mr. Welling, seconding. Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed? That takes care of that. Council comments. Mr. Schmidt, let's start down here at this end. What's on your mind tonight, sir?
I do. Thank you, sir. First, I'd like to thank Mickey and Rocco for spending time with me today, and I went through the roundhouse and all the buildings for a tour of that for the first time to see what really is going on down there. So I appreciate their time today. And I meant to bring this up at the last meeting, but I failed to, but I want to bring it forward now. When we had our meeting back in May, on May 25th, we asked Mr. Harris to present a training course on the Wyoming Open Meetings Act. And he did his presentation, and one of the things that I found that was kind of offensive to me is once he presented that and put his time and expertise into putting the presentation together, and we became argumentative over some of the issues, and I don't think we accomplished anything by doing that. And we reverted back to the same problem that we have had. Is we asked him to do a presentation, and then we argue about it, rather than let him do the presentation and we learn from it. I also believe that we have a misunderstanding. Mr. Harris works for us, which he does. It's true, he works as a city employee, And I've done the research on our employee manual, policy manual, and I can go through and cite that if you wish, and on what his job is and a summary of his duties. I also refer to Wyoming Statutes 154202A. I have a copy of those if anybody wants, if you want me to review those. And the Wyoming Court Rules 1.13.A, the organization as a client and what his duties are. So in short, I've had conversations, I believe, with most everybody on the council. I've had conversations with you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Harris has given me time to be able to speak with him and review a lot of issues with the city, and I appreciate that. And I always felt that no matter who I talked with, whether it's been our mayor or Mr. Harris, they spend the time with me, and I'm able to ask the questions and they answer them to my satisfaction. Whether I agree or not, or whether we disagree or not, it doesn't matter. We walk away and we're able to come to a resolution. And I feel we owe that to Mr. Harris, as well as everybody on this council, that we can sit here and we can disagree on whatever we want to disagree on, but we need to come to a resolution and work together so we can get these issues taken care of. So I'd like to, I guess, whether it's a motion or however we talk about it, I'd like to see us move forward with the training, and if we feel that it takes a facilitator to be involved, then let's make it happen. I really believe that we're just not accomplishing much by this always arguing, whether it's Mr. Harris, and I believe he did a great job in his presentation, whether we understand or disagree with it or not. This isn't the place to go ahead and argue with him. The other comment that I'd like to make real quickly is in regard to the state hospital. There's a lot of controversy over the state hospital from the citizens as well as the council. And I understand that the state of Wyoming has control over what happens to the property. Property is disposed of. I know that that time has passed. It was, I believe, March 22nd was the deadline on that. And I know we were presented with an option to go ahead and purchase the property or acquire the property for renovation and so on. And through the research that I've done, reading all of the information that's available to us, in December of 2021, Myers and Anderson Architects did the feasibility study. And, you know, whether it's broken down into saving all the buildings, 14 of them, 10 of them, 7 of them, there's a variety of costs that's going to cost either the city or someone to renovate those buildings. And demolition is going to be around $9 million or somewhere in that estimate. But it doesn't reflect the cost of today. 2025 is what it was when they did this study. So I believe that, you know, it's going to be very costly, number one, for the city or for the citizens. And I don't know how we're going to come to a resolution on it, or the funding for that to renovate or to do whatever it is with that without either a tax increase or whatever it takes to accomplish that. I don't know what the answer is. But and I also don't know what the state's intentions are for the property. I still haven't gotten an answer from the state on what their intentions are. I would like to see, or if there's some way of finding out if they have any future intentions on that property. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Lind.
I apologize for not making the last meeting. I got an opportunity to take my family on a vacation they will probably never forget. But while I was there, I went to Costa Rica is where I went, and I got to experience how poor that country is. I got to see how a lot of those people live. They're lucky to have running water. They're lucky to have air conditioning is a huge luxury, plumbing. And for some reason, they were extremely happy, very cordial, very nice. It made me realize how grateful I am to have everything I have, everything my family has, and how grateful I am to live in this country, because it's not like that everywhere else. So just wanted to tell everybody, be very happy and appreciate the things you do have, because we live in a great country and we're lucky to have what we have. So.
Excellent, thank you. Mr. Parks.
I'm just glad we have a full house tonight. It's good to see the public getting involved. So,
Thank you. Mr. Welling.
I don't have anything other than appreciate Councilman Schmidt's comments and his digging into stuff and getting some understanding. I appreciate him. Other than that, the golf course is open. Things are looking good.
I knew that, yeah.
You figured that out already?
But go out and use the facilities we have. Parks are opening up. The pickleball courts are open and getting used, so it's good to see.
Excellent, thank you. Mr. Sellers.
So I'll give this to Damon to send back. I really appreciate Public Works, and I'm going to tell you thank you personally, but for my neighbors who didn't really realize that their sewer line was plugged, I was just getting all the crap coming down off the hill from it, out the manhole, but it was their sewer line, and I appreciated them coming and taking care of that a whole bunch. And those utilities up there are I lose sleep over them when things happen. I lose sleep over them when they're not happening at times. It's just because it's an old system and it went smooth, and usually I'm banging my head against the wall trying to figure out what we're going to do, and I appreciated everybody and made it nice. Councilman Welling probably knows more about this, but be mindful of people that are, carbon fiber had their first wave of layoffs. I know we're looking forward to Trona Mines doing some things, but my understanding from people who've been looking for jobs and stuff I've been talking to from different layoffs, that Genesis laid off 40 people. The coal mines have their first round of layoffs of 28 people. That's almost 100 people in our area that have been laid off. Many of them have talked to me about different things. When I say many, probably about 3 of them have talked to me about things in their only options are to be moving out of the area right now. And I'm afraid we're going to lose some good families. So if you hear of something, be mindful of your neighbors who might be looking for jobs. If you hear of something that'll work, give them tips, send them to Workforce Services and Councilman Welling, because he's got lots of tools to help them. But I'm very mindful of them and be happy for them. On my way here, I was reminded, as my neighborhood was flooded with little children's running all over, and they can be hard to see. Be mindful of the little ones as the weather's getting nicer, and we don't need to start our summer by having a child injured by getting hit by a car or anything like that. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Hageman.
Welcome, everyone. It's so good to see a full house. I love it when that happens, and I love the community's participation. Just a reminder, with the weather getting better, look out for motorcycles. I'm on one of them. So keep the 2 wheels in the forefront of your mind when turning, especially at intersections, as well as the children. I hope everybody's getting their yard work done. I have been digging out from Dog Poop Armageddon of 2025. I know I am not alone. So thank God for spring, right? And we learned a lot last working session of our seniors in the community. The senior center came in, and you know, the summer months and this more daylight allows us more time. Go check on your neighbors, especially your seniors. There's quite a few people in our community that could use a smile, a friendly word, and maybe something nice to eat. And as always, a big thank you to our veterans and our service members, both men and women here and currently deployed. And a big shout out to my son, who turns 22 on deployment. I will not be able to spend his birthday with him yet again because he is overseas. So I know you watch this, Alberic. Happy birthday, my boy.
You had something else, Mr.
I have one more thing, Your Honor. I apologize. I'd like to thank Rocco and his crew. Councilman Sellers brought up. We met. Part of my job is when there's massive layoffs, we meet with all these employees that have lost their job, and we were able to meet with most of the Mitsubishi people. I think we met with about 30 to 40 that are getting laid off. They're doing that in waves. And then we were able to have a job fair specifically for the Mitsubishi employees, and both employees and employers were very grateful for the amount of people and the amount of talent that was in with the Mitsubishi staff, and I think they were able to fill a lot of their jobs they've been looking for. And we're meeting with the Kemmer coal miners tomorrow here, and then in Kemmer Thursday morning, and we just meet with them and let them know all their benefits and what's available in the communities of both Kemmer, Diamondville, and Evanston. And there's a lot of resources for them. So, but Rocco and his staff have been stellar with providing us an area big enough to hold these type of events, and it's been very successful. And we appreciate Rocco.
Excellent, thank you. Well, I won't add anything other than to just say I appreciate the comments and appreciate the things that have been said, and we will move on. Our next will be our swearing-in ceremony. Chief, you wanna...
Your Honor, members of council, thank you. This is Officer Jessica Villarreal. I won't try to pronounce her name correctly, so I can't roll an R. But she's our newest officer. We're very excited to have her. She's a graduate of Mountain View High School, and she comes to us, and you notice that she's wearing a teal-colored badge. That's in honor of Sexual Assault Awareness Month, which we're in right now, and I believe April 30th. Wednesday is Denim Day, if you guys are aware of that. But without further ado, Mayor, if I can request you please swear her in.
I would love to.
Okay, go ahead and just stand up here. That's good. Just go stand up there. Okay, go and face the mayor.
You raise your right hands and say aye, and then repeat your name, and then repeat after me.
I, Jessica Lynn Villarreal,
Do solemnly swear that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States
do solemnly swear that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Wyoming,
and the Constitution of the State of Wyoming,
that I have not knowingly violated any law related to my election or appointment,
that I have not knowingly violated any law related to my election or appointment,
or caused it to be done by others,
or caused it to be done by others,
and that I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity.
and that I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity.
Welcome aboard.
Oh, Mr. Mayor,
Please, absolutely.
just needed that. Thank you, sir.
It's not done till the paperwork's signed, I guess, right?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, thank you.
Thank you. And I appreciate doing that here. I think it gives the community a chance to get to know you and to get to know what we do. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. I take this kind of thing pretty seriously. I have appreciated very much my own personal association with the police department over many years and a sideline career of my own. And I appreciate the commitment that you're willing to make to our community. So thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. We will move on. We have no consent agenda or unfinished business. We have some new business, and we'll start there, considering a motion to approve some alterations in construction of the roof at the HUB building, preschool building, the Evanston Child Development Center, 336 Summit Street. Mr. Harris, do you want to tell us what we're doing here?
Sure. As I mentioned in the memorandum that was sent out with the agenda, we were contacted last week by Evanston Child Development Center. They were in the process of putting a new roof on the hub building, and in the process of doing that, they had the preschool building roof looked at. That roof was constructed in 2015 as a city project, and after 2015, then the city entered a lease with ECDC for all buildings on the property except the hub, and that was for the Boys and Girls Club, you may remember, and then the Boys and Girls Club relocated, and that hub section was then, or that portion of the building they occupied was then rolled into the lease with ECDC. So they contacted us, wanted to make sure that the city would approve, because we own the structures there and the property, and make sure the city would approve any roof replacement over the preschool building, which their consulting team has told them they need to potentially replace as part of their work on the other part of the building. The lease covers all that. They understand that's at their cost, but Mr. Hawkins had provided me with a warranty from Johns Mansville, the product manufacturer of the roofing product, and that has a 10-year remaining life on it. So we forwarded that information to them so that they can pursue that warranty.
Excellent.
So they're seeking permission to make that.
Just simply authorizing that we're not have a financial component in this. We're just authorizing the work.
That is correct, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve this construction and alteration at ECDC.
I'll make the motion. I'll make the motion, Your Honor.
Mr. Sellers seconding. Any discussion on the motion?
So have they got approval through the warranty to get the work done?
I guess they're working on that now. Is that understand?
Mr. Mayor.
Please, go ahead.
Councilor Lynn, they'll make a claim on the warranty because they've taken the place the city is.
Okay, but they haven't made a claim yet, so they don't know if they're fighting
No,
the warranty.
because I don't think they were aware of the warranty until last week.
I was going to say just.
Well, that's probably good news then, I imagine. And they got it. Okay.
Further discussion? No further discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed? That's approved. Our next is a motion to declare some rail ties located at the roundhouse and rail yards as excess and surplus assets. Mr. O'Neill.
Mayor, members of the council, Rocco O'Neill, City of Evanston Community Development Department. Game and Fish called my office a couple weeks ago asking if they could purchase some of those rail ties that were piled up over there by the new parking lot on the, what would that be, north end of the roundhouse. And so in order to discard of city-owned property, even to government agency, we have to have a motion to be able to do that.
Excellent. Any questions for Rocco before we move on with this?
Yeah, what they doing with them?
think if I had to guess, based on the conversation, probably a retaining wall of some kind somewhere.
How much are they, and how much are they to replace?
They'll likely be at no cost to the Game and Fish, so.
And how much would they be to replace them if we needed them in the future?
I'm not sure. Yeah.
These were pulled out of the old park to make that park.
These are
So they're
old ties, are they not?
Yeah, they were removed as part of the parking lot construction to level that and get the drainage in that area. They're fairly old. A lot of them are decaying, but
things up that area.
yeah.
I
They have something that they could do with them and be useful with them.
Isn't there an issue with the creosote in those? I thought they were very regulated to specifically train-oriented, and they had to be on gravel. There was some standards put in place a while ago. I don't know if they're still there, but has that research been done?
Nope, sold as is. So that's all I know. Yeah. Game and Fish wants them, and this is a motion to be able to transfer them over to Game and Fish.
I'm guessing we don't have any use for them, right?
Wouldn't think.
Not currently, no.
I'll entertain a motion to declare these ties as surplus.
I'll make that motion.
Willing? Is there a second?
I'll second it, Your Honor.
Perks, seconding. Discussion.
Most of them look like they're needed hauled off to the somewhere anyway. If we ever needed ties to do something, I think we'd be better off purchasing newer ones. Those look pretty bad shape from what I've seen.
Yeah, and I imagine we'll have some left over. There's a bunch of them down there.
It's a big pile. But I would agree that if we wanted to do something constructive with them, you'd want better shaped ones than those, but.
Further discussion? If there's none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed?
Aye. Nay.
Noted.
Thank you.
Next is a motion to award the bid for the 2025 overlay project. Mr. Newsom.
Good evening, Mayor, Councils. Damon Newsom, City of Evanston engineer. With respect to Mr. Sellers' comment, I'll pass that on to Gordon. He's got great people to help out, so I'll let him know of your appreciation. On March 27th, we opened the bids for this year's street overlay project throughout the city. The apparent low bidder is Staker Parsons, so I'm looking for a motion to award that to them, and the next one would be for entering a contract to do the work.
Okay. Excellent. Based on that, I'll entertain a motion to award this bid to Staker Parsons.
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Sellers, a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Mr. Welling, seconding. Discussion. Please.
We worked with Staker Parsons on the Wyoming Preference Act, and they've already contacted us, and they have that ball rolling. So they were great to work with last year, and we went to the pre-construction, pre-start thing, and you can invite us again. But they were getting all their ducks in a row for that Preference Act, and great company to work with. So.
Yeah, I would echo that too. Staker's a great company. Had many positive experiences with them. Excited that they're ready to rock and roll for this coming year.
Excellent.
I haven't worked with them directly like that, but the roads that they have done in the past just seem to be at a higher level than some of the other companies that we've had.
In my opinion, they go above and beyond just the standard quote.
And I know there's so many different things to look at and different things, but one of the biggest comments I get is about the conditions of our roads. So if we can get somebody that does them just that much better, I think it's good for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where's the overlay going to be? Like, what streets are we doing?
This year's roads are Red Hawk and the little stub street of Scott's. Those are in pretty rough condition. Becker's Circle around the lumberyard. City View, and don't cringe when I say City View, but it's ultimately from 150 to where they started. That's starting to show its age. There's a lot of crack seal up there, and this is just
up and over the hill. That's
yeah, basically from 150 to the top of Cheyenne, and to where it ties into what we did last year. But a lot of crack seal holding that together, so it's worth that being a road to fix. And then the other one is North 3rd Street, right in front of Maverick, McDonald's, to that intersection. So that one's pretty rough right there.
Are we responsible for all those? Say that McDonald's area, there's some of those that are responsible for private businesses.
Second Street.
Second Street is, right?
Yep.
That one's pretty rough shape too, so when they come to me and go, hey, the city needs to take care of that, that's responsibility of
Yeah,
them?
Second Street goes, I'll say, right to Fizz, about in that area.
Yeah.
So
I know the people that have that other section, they have dumped tons and tons of private money in to try to fix that road, and it's just a hard,
it's tough.
Kind of have to do what we did on that middle section of Cheyenne, I think, to get it right.
Yeah.
And we can just pave it like the Romans did, and we'll just put a whole bunch of layers of brick and
Something like that. It'd probably hold up better.
So I just have one question. This is another Utah company. You know how I feel about that. I've made it clear. I know the 5%, but you know we're going on close to $1 billion. The stakers usually come in and we don't have to sit there and approve more money for them? Are they usually on bid, or do we have to go in and do they have, I can't think of the word right now, so.
Change order?
Yeah.
Last year we had a change order, but that was our call to add another road. Otherwise, they're really good to work with on any job I've done.
I hear that. I hear that they're really great. They go above and beyond. They do a good job for us. It's a good value for our taxpayers' money. I just feel it's got to start somewhere. If we don't give our Wyoming companies more deference, they're just going to keep shrinking. And so it's just going to keep putting money over the border instead of spending our money in our community. And, you know, we're climbing and climbing and climbing. I understand that they are a good company and we have worked with them before, and it's nothing against them except their location and their tax.
Ultimately, this is a competitive bid. It
Yeah.
was sent out to Wyoming contractors, Utah contractors, and these are the results. They're very favorable to the amount of work that we're getting done.
Oh, I see that. I totally agree with that. I just, when we keep this going, when we keep awarding contracts to Utah companies, they can keep getting cheaper, and our Wyoming companies are going to get more expensive because we're not giving them the ability to purchase, buy, and come down. This is something I've been talking about for 2 years now, and we haven't gone awarding other deferences and making up the difference and trying to bolster our, I mean, we're losing jobs, just like Mr. Sellers said. And please understand, I'm not talking, I'm not at you. It's, you know, is there a way that we can put in this contract that they hire 90% of Wyoming
Mr. Welling
contractors?
would be able to speak on that, but they have to go through the labor.
Your Honor, under the Wyoming Preference Act, they have to advertise every position they're bringing up here for 9 days. If there's a Wyoming person that fits that job description, they have to hire them. Plus, if they don't hire them, these people are staying in our motels and eating in our restaurants, and they're spending money in our community. So it's not a big loss. You know, it's hard to justify $817,000 when someone comes in at $644. I can't do that with taxpayer money. That's absurd.
I'm not saying that.
Well, that's the Wyoming bid was $817,000. They're 644,000, and so, but they're spending money in our community. They do have to hire Wyoming people if those people meet their job description. That's the Wyoming Preference Act. So that's where it's at. So, and that's Heidi can watch that. And if there's somebody that applies and they don't hire them, then they get fired.
We did have one Wyoming company that was close, right? That's 699.
That is correct. They're out of Rock Springs.
Is that where they're from? Yeah.
Mr.
Please.
Just so to focus the discussion on the preference, that preference is set at 5%. That is an act of the Wyoming legislature. To alter that amount of 5% is going to require a change to the preference law, which would require a legislative act. It's been 5% for 40 or 50 years. And in order to give more deference to a Wyoming contractor for projects that are required to be bid under our statutes, which this was, then it's going to have to take a change from the legislature to change that amount, whether it's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or whatever. So it's a statutory change that's going to be required.
Excellent, thank you.
There is that one that was close. Have you ever worked with R&D sweeping? I'm just curious, because I don't think I've ever heard of them.
Not of them as a company, but the main project representative used to work for the bigger competitor over in Rock Springs.
Okay.
So I've worked with him, but not R&D.
Not R&D.
So
Okay.
they're a little bit smaller. This would have been a bigger project to them. Don't know their capabilities, but I know what he can bring.
I was going to say, if they're coming in close on this bid, I'm assuming they'll probably come in close on their future bids.
I
So
think
curious if you...
they'll continue to poke over here, and one of these days they might be the low bid. So
Okay. I've heard of all, I think I've heard of the rest of them, but that one, so.
There's no further discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed?
Aye.
Noted. Thank you. Now, Resolution 2517. Mr. Harris, will read that title for us, please.
Mr. Mayor, Resolution 2517 is a resolution of the City of Evanston, Wyoming, authorizing the execution of an agreement with Staker and Parson Companies for completion of all work required for the 2025 Street Maintenance Overlay Project.
Thank you, sir. This is what we've just talked about in the previous motion. I'll entertain an introduction on this resolution. Mr. Sellers with a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Mr. Welling seconding. Discussion. If there's no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed?
Nay.
Noted. Thank you. Comments from departments. Mr. Newsom, you have anything more for us tonight? You're close to school. Ms. Larson. Chief Ranish, you have anything for?
Yes, sir. This Saturday, we're going to Easter egg hunt put up by the Peace Officers Association. It's 9 a.m. in Ballville. I want to thank Parks and Rec for helping out and use their facilities. It starts at 9 a.m. sharp. This is all funded privately with the Peace Officers Association. The officers down there volunteering their time. It's not taxpayer funded. So if you got anybody that's elementary age kids, have them there before 9 a.m. More of an Easter egg rush than a hunt. That's kind of how we got to do it. So I appreciate it. Thanks.
Hey, do we have a
Thanks,
new,
thank
do we have a, sorry, do we have a new Easter bunny outfit? Can we get a new Easter?
Outfit.
Would we get a new Easter bunny outfit?
We don't have any outfits.
We actually,
can't remember how we used to get them from the library. I don't remember if we purchased one or not. I'm not sure I used to money off it. I just know I don't want to eat it. But I used to buy
Okay.
one of the older kids that was on it, and they're a lot better than I'll ever be.
Okay.
Excellent. Thank you for doing that, by the way. Ms. Lim, do you have anything for us tonight? Ms. Harris?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Harris?
Your Honor, just as something in the future, a couple of laws will take effect July 1st, the Safety in Public Places Act and the repeal of gun-free zones Act. Those will require a little bit of looking into possible rule adoption for the council to consider.
Okay.
Again, those go into effect July 1, so basically the same time as our budget.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you. Public comment. I know there's quite a few people here tonight. If you would like to come say something to the council, you're more than welcome to do. We'll open that up in just a second. Just be mindful of our numbers, and if you do have a comment or a question or whatever, please kind of stay on point and be as brief as possible. But with that, is there anyone that would like to address the council for any reason? Davis.
Mayor and the councilman, I'm grateful to be here. I wish it was on a little better situation, but we're going to jump right into it. I'm here at the request of HPC because we, whether you know it or not, are in the process of renewing a MOU. It's just an agreement between you and us as to how we go about working in the roundhouse. The current MOU is expiring shortly, so we need a new one wrote up or written. The attorney has written a MOU, and frankly, it's not even worth printing. It's not even worth using the ink out of a printer. I don't know where he is coming from and why this is such a deal. It's been 4 or 5 years we've been working down there, and it seems that we're walking on eggshells. We have our hands tied. They keep looking for minor things that they think we do wrong. I don't know, I just don't know. I've got several guys here that are with us all the time. We're volunteering our time. This is something that we think Evanston can use. This is something that you've got a golden jewel in that roundhouse. Now we parked the steam engine. We're going to try to get it running. There are communities that would give their left one to have this opportunity. And we just keep getting, I'm getting this look right here. Why can you not want to help us? Why can you not want to help us? Is it something we did in the past? Is it? We haven't. It's not costing you guys hardly a dime. We do appreciate the help that Jesse and his guys give us down there.
Your Honor, may I speak?
Go ahead.
I was actually invited to, asked about the MOU and the discussion. I was not able to attend. I was hoping we could reschedule that. But just as myself, I am in full support of making sure that MOU works for the city and for you guys. I think we've got something that we could definitely work with in that building with that locomotive. I feel really bad that the relationship between the Historic Preservation Commission and, I wouldn't say this council necessarily, but within the relationship is not as good as it should be, and I feel like we could do a lot to improve that. And I apologize if don't throw us all in the same basket. I think you do have some support.
Well, I don't mean to do that, and I was going to poll each and every one of you and just get your feeling on, if you guys want us to, we will go and we'll make this thing run. But if you don't want us to, we got a lot of time involved, and it's going to take a hell of a lot more time. A lot more regulations need to be met with the Federal Railroad Association, and that's where we're at. We don't feel comfortable the way it is, and I certainly don't feel comfortable with that MOU that was written.
When you received that MOU, have you have a counter suggestion or a counter write-up that we could consider and have a discussion?
Again, we're to that point where if I can get the assurance from the council and you that this is a good working situation, then yes, we will provide anything you want. We will do anything you want. But I just, before I waste all their time and all my time, I need to know from each individual one of you guys what you think about it. I've already heard what Jesse has to say.
Well, I don't know that we're prepared tonight to make that poll. I don't think that's an appropriate thing to do for public participation, but we will certainly, I've heard your comments, and if you wanted to make some suggestions on that MOU, we're still talking about it. It hasn't been approved or authorized just yet. We've got a little bit of time, and so we can still do some visiting.
I don't think you've answered or satisfied
Well, probably won't
that
answer your question.
whatsoever.
That's the best I can do tonight.
Okay. Well, here's a good example. You know, we're going to run the steam engine. We're going to take it out and run it and hopefully come up here, maybe go back. But we could use railroad ties. And see, we're not even asked if that's an option. Rocco and company just come in, oh yeah, we'll just give them the game fish. Hell yeah. You know, a little transparency, talk to us. I wish you would have come and talked to us today while you're in there this morning. We would love to have you. And all I want to know is if you want us to continue, we will. If you feel it's not right, not a good project, then that's something else too.
I would like to see what suggestions you have in this MOU. I mean, I have a copy of, I guess, what the proposal is, and I'm not sure what the opposition is, but I'd like to know what the opposition is so we can make a good decision that works for you and works for us as well.
Well, I know that
I do support the historical value of the roundhouse and all of the things that I saw today, and I think they're doing a great job as far as moving forward on making that a centerpiece for the city of Evanston. And I would like to see I think it's 4420, I believe is the number that I saw. I would like to see that restored and showcased as part of the history of Evanston. But we need to come to an agreement, I believe, between what you expect in this agreement so we can either come to some...
Well, it's really basic. What we expect is just the ability to do our job. And we feel we're getting restricted to doing our job, which is volunteering to help build the dam.
How so? I mean, you can tell me that you're being restricted, but
the latest MOU
understand.
had a lot of stuff to do with something called Shays Brewery. They'll have a lot of control on what we can do. We were there first, you know. There are little dumb things that just, why can't we use the restroom in the section 1? So we have to have an outhouse stuck there where it's nice, new, with a courtyard and all of that. Why can't we drive right up there and unload our stuff, get our tools out, and do work right there? We have to walk from the parking lot of the machine shop clear around, halfway around the roundhouse. And instead of a reason why we can't do it, we just, no, it's done, get out. Jesse come and found us. One day we had the FRA guy down there, and the FRA didn't know where to park, so he just parks his car, and, oh, that's a big violation. Well, we're down there 3 hours a day, twice a week, usually with nothing else going on in the complex. So what the hell would it hurt, world? And it's hard in the winter to walk clear around to get to that. But that's all we're asking for, is little things and little How can you help us? You know, how, just ask us.
Maybe what we need to do is have an additional work session item, and we'll sit down and talk about some things. We're not going to hash anything out necessarily tonight. We're not going to make any decisions during the council comments of this particular agenda. And I know some emotions are a little bit raw, but we can have some further discussions. Is the HPC? Are you a member of the HPC, the commission?
No, you know that.
Well, no, I didn't know that, but I guess my question is why? I mean, you say you're here speaking on behalf of the Historic Preservation Commission.
That's correct. I'm a volunteer on the restoration of the 4420 steam engine.
I understand that. And I read the MOU, and in my mind, it doesn't say anything much different from the very original one that we considered a few years back. When your committee, your group of individuals wanting to restore the engine, when you moved into Section 2 of the Roundhouse, quite honestly, that was just simply a courtesy on the part of the city of Evanston. You laugh, but it was. Anything else you'd like to say, Mr. Davis?
Is that we're doing this thinking it's going to be a great thing for you, and you're slapping us right back in the face.
I don't feel that way, and I'm sorry you do, but I don't feel that way.
Well,
is there anything else you'd have us know tonight?
Your Honor, may I say
Please.
one thing? Mm-hmm. I know there's difference of opinions on the work you guys are doing and everything else, but I have one example of when I came down to visit with you guys, when you guys were working on it. The Forest Service was having a big convention in the Roundhouse part there, and they were actually on break. And on break, they came and walked through and came and looked, and every person that walked through that place said, "This is incredible. This is awesome. Why don't we market this? Why don't we let people know that this is in there?" And I get it, there's a dirt floor. There's a lot we could still do with the place. But even in the condition it's in now, the opportunity for tourism and people to come ask questions and look at it and see it is all incredible. So I would like, you know, the idea to explore that, I don't think that's a bad idea to try and explore that option. So.
I have a tenant who moved here just to be involved with the railroad and because of our roundhouse. And then when I'm down around, I've run into people from all sorts of different parts of the world. They come to see the roundhouse, but they're also, the word of the 4420 is getting out, and people are stopping to see it already. And I agree that we have a golden egg there if we can do it right. And I'm hoping that we can get what we need to do in the MOU to make things happen. I can see only if for some reason, the only thing I can see that we'd really need to change and move things out is if we had a really, really good economic development thing. And on your hand, I was talking the other day, if all of a sudden everybody gave up, and that's why I asked the question in the work session, how far along are we? How far along are we? And we're at that critical mass point of moving forward. And I just see all of a sudden the pieces starting to fall in place. And I personally hope that that can happen sooner than later. And that, you know, and I hope we're at the point of saying we need to come up with some money for some new railroad ties so we're not putting old ones under and putting a track up that we can use it for the tourists. I think we would, if it was actually just moving around a little bit in there and could be set on the turntable and turn just that much, I think it would even bring more and more. And I think Shades and the Roundhouse and the train can all be worked together and build business down there, but I think it can bring huge business all the way down Main Street. I think the opportunities are endless as we put all the pieces together. So thank you for what you do.
Well, you're preaching back to the choir. This is something I have passion for, and I know that it'd be such a value to the city. And it is such a shock to get this backlash. And that's what I feel it is, and it's not from you guys.
There's always two sides to look at things, and there's the conservative side and the nuts and bolts, and especially with an engine, and you know, the fiscal aspect of things, and the reward and the return. And with the steam engine, we have a division, and but along those lines of fiscally and more on what could be. And there's those that are in the present and those that are looking in the future. I look in the past, actually. That steam engine is Evanston. It literally saved Evanston during the reclamation. It was that 4420. That is why we are here today. So not only did it save Evanston then, it can save Evanston again. That thing is a golden goose. It is a golden goose that can be approached with Hollywood, it can be approached to tourism, it can provide jobs, it can employ youth and seniors. And in a time where our nation is looking towards more fiscally conservative times, I'll put it that way. You know, one of the biggest things that happens in tourism is people they have staycations and they go to national parks. And we saw that with COVID, we saw that with other downturns, that we have an up-ramp in our national parks. And unlike, I think the 4420 will be a great, it will be a draw for Shades. Shades won't be a draw for the 4420, but the 4420 will help support Shades, and with proper marketing, it will stop all the traffic going to Bear Lake, the Downs, the Yellowstone, and the increased traffic that we're going to get. And that traffic will feed onto Main Street and to my district, which really needs some help downtown. We need to feed people downtown. We don't have a problem and never have had a problem with the amount of tourists that come through Evanston. We have a serious problem in stopping them. And that engine will stop them dead in their tracks, because I've seen it time and time and time again from all over the world, and it will also help feed onto Main Street and bolster our other businesses. So not only is it a golden goose in itself, it will really help this town.
Well, you know that I'm passionate, and I've taken up enough of your time, and I'm sorry. It's just that it is something I hate to see. I'd hate to see us lose this, because we're willing to put everything we got into it. Some of us are over 80 years old down there. You know, come down and see us.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else that would like to address the council? Joni, please.
I think you have to build a podium for just us little people.
Sure. Me too. Me and you both. You can pull it right down if you want to. It'll bend.
I really don't want to. I'm here representing HPC, the Historical Preservation Commission. I'm new to the program as a leader. I'm chairman of HPC, and I understand the passion of these guys that I've known all my life, except a couple, maybe. And I, too, share that passion, and I've talked to the Honorable Mayor about it, you know. Evanston would not be here if it wasn't for the railroad. And I myself, Mark, John, all of us that are originally born and raised here, know that little engine and what it did. And at the time when we were growing up, it didn't mean a thing, you know, it was just something that happened. But now it's a big deal to us, and so therefore the passion to get this done. And I want you to know that we do appreciate everything you've done for us. We wouldn't be down there if it wasn't for you. And the guys, they want to continue, and we do have this MOU, and we're working on it. It isn't anything that I think that we can do tonight or maybe even next month sometime, but we're working on it, we're reading it, we're trying to get some advice. We too want to be compatible with the city. I know there is contention, and we've realized it for a long time, and it's something that needs to go away. We're trying, as HPC Commission, we've talked about this at some of our meetings. What can we do? No more negativity, no more anger, whatever it might take, so that we can work together and be a part of you and you a part of us. And so I'm trying the best I can to keep kind of an even keel. And we love this city. Us that were born and raised here and those that have moved here love this place. And I'd like to see this project finished and go on and be an asset to the city. We don't want to do something that's going to not draw people or be just a stone in the floor, but this is something that the passion that we have and the passion that other people have told me about, we want to see go on. But I want to see it go on where we can be friendly and that we know that you're with us, we're with you. HPC Commission says the same thing. RINC, we're talking about RINC, bringing RINC in, because the same thing has been happening between HPC and RINC. We're separated, and we need to all work together, and this is my goal. So I do want you to know, Mark, I appreciate you. Every one of you, I appreciate your understanding and ask that you continue to work with us and let us finish that little engine. And our vision is to run it. Who knows, you know, maybe we will finish the diner car and the caboose and have ice cream and food. I don't know. That's my long-range goal, if I live that long. But I do appreciate you, and I just want you to know that we know, HPC knows, and we stand behind these guys because I've been down there quite a bit. I know what they do. I know their passion for it. We just need to get over this, whatever it is. I appreciate you, and thank you for letting me come.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else? Mr. Horn?
My name is Shelley Horn, 31 Park Road, Evanston. Can you hear me all right?
We can, yes.
I did not come here tonight with any intention of addressing the mayor and council, but there seems to be a lack of information and understanding about some of the things that I am doing with the historic Wyoming State Hospital. And I think that if you're not aware of it, you should become aware of it. I started working on this project when I was the vice chairman of the Historic Preservation Commission until I was deemed to be too old to be useful on that commission anymore. But I had several things started that I needed to finish. The biggest problem that you have with the Wyoming State Hospital is money. Now, every time I have approached the governor with an idea on how to repurpose the hospital, the question always comes back, where is the money? And I've never had an adequate answer for that until recently. When the governor came to town and I had an opportunity to talk with him personally, and I suggested to him that the idea I had might be a solution to the problem, and he said, "What is that?" I said, "I would like to approach Frank Siller and Tunnel to Towers in New York City about turning the hospital into a veterans complex." And he looked at me and he said, "If you can get Frank Siller interested in that project," he says, "I will talk to him personally." So with that, I have started my quest to get Mr. Siller and Tunnel to Towers interested in the project. I sent them all the information we had from Myers Anderson on the condition of the buildings, which could be repurposed and which are probably not savable. I have invited them to come out and take a look. And I have copied the governor on everything that I've done. I have also copied Senator Cynthia, help me. Lewis, yes. So she's been involved in all of the information that I've provided to Tunnel to Towers. I have recently had contact with Tunnel to Towers because a couple of weeks went by when I got no response from them. And I talked with a gentleman who said that the decision on that had to be passed up to what they called the Veterans Board, I believe is what he called it on Tunnel to Towers. He says, they are the people that will make that decision. He says, I have all of your information and I will pass it on to them and they will get back to you. And I said, please, if they don't get back to me, can I call you and find out yes or no? Because we need to know one way or the other whether we're just wasting our time or not. Now, if I need to, I get no response in letters I write to the governor. If I need to, I will drive to Cheyenne and I will talk to the governor personally again. If I need to, I will fly to New York City and talk to Frank Siller if he will talk to me. I will do whatever I can to pursue this thing to the end. I had one other fellow in Montana, a fellow by the name of Rob Rule, who had some wonderful ideas on how he could help veterans. And I dealt with him for about a month, and when I finally said to him, we will get together with the governor, can you bring a $10 million letter of credit? And he laughed and said, that would not be possible. So he said, I think I will withdraw from any interest in your project. So I went from there into Frank Siller. This is not something that you can just say, oh, it's hopeless. I know you have no authority to do anything about this, but you don't have to be so negative about it. You don't have to say, oh, this is a hopeless case, nobody can do anything about it. I'm here to tell you that I'm getting close to 90 and I still think I can do something about it. And so that's what I intend to do, and I will keep you apprised of what kind of response I get from these people. I just thought that you should have knowledge of what I'm up to.
Thanks, sir. Thank you. Anyone else like to address the council?
This is from a man who was turned down to reapply as the vice president of the HPC. What a demonstration of leadership. I would like to ask council and the public if they believe a proposal for the memorandum of understanding for the HPC comes to us with suggestion of half the term that existed in the first memorandum of understanding. To us, it shows some true colors. That's all I have to say.
Anyone else? Ms. Crawford.
Good evening, Cindy Crawford here, resident 193 in Elmy. Anyway, I've been living here for 31 years. This is a great town. And I'm hearing some overlapping issues tonight that I'd like to make comment on. One being, of course, the state hospital, I think is another jewel to our community. And the attraction to some of these historical monuments or places, I think is very important, can generate revenue, as you know. They're iconic, we should preserve them. Now, whether they be, the restoration be a state or city budget issue is another concern. In regards to the road repair, I went to, earlier today to the commissioners meeting, and YDOT was there. And they were also talking about road repairs. So my I guess, question would be is, how do they overlap? YDOT versus our worker here who presented a bid. Do you have an answer to
how do they overlap?
YDOT versus a Utah company to do road repair, be it highway or city roads?
I don't know that I'm understanding your question.
Earlier today at commissioners meeting, there was an individual from YDOT talking about road repair.
Okay.
So I'm just asking, does YDOT get involved with local street repairs?
I think I had that.
sorry.
I'm understanding what she's asking, which is YDOT is state. So the state, and there's certain roads in Evanston that are state-owned. Like Front Street is state-owned. So even when we do something in one of those buildings, we have to go through the state versus the city, even though City Hall is in walking distance. So there's a mishmash of these state-owned roads and the city, and we're responsible for the city. Do I have that correct?
For the most part. I guess I would, and Damon, you, please, maybe you could explain it better than I.
I'm going to make the assumption of this, but ultimately, when the state of Wyoming or YDOT puts out a project, most of the time that's federal money. If it's federal money, anybody's being paid. If it's state money, then we're talking the 5% preference. So most of the jobs that come out of YDOT are federally funded, so the state preference doesn't exist.
Thank you. That answers my question.
Excellent. Thank you. Anyone else like to address the council tonight?
Lori Carlton, Center Street in Evanston. I just wanted to make a common sense, you don't take my picture, comment on behalf of the volunteers who are restoring 4420 engine. I had some nasty, just gnarly rose bushes in my yard that needed to be pulled out. And all the guys that came and did that were volunteers. And, excuse me, I accommodated their needs because they were not being paid. I made them food and drink, and they could use my bathroom as well. And so I kind of think, you know, the city of Evanston should bend over backwards for these guys. And I'm not sure the reason, fully the reason why they feel slighted, but, you know, I'm sure it's hard work, just like the rose bushes were. And in terms of the overlay project that Mr. Newsom was talking about, I don't know if this would, you were stating a list of places that needed repair, and I think if the hospital parking lot could be added to that, that is just crumbling. It needs it's in desperate need of repair. So, yeah, I just wanted to add that to the list if it would, you know, qualify as being part of that group of places that could be repaired. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you.
And you're 100% right. That hospital parking lot's terrible, but that's not city property, and we cannot go on there and repair their parking lot. That's got to be up to the hospital. And for what they charge me, you'd think they'd have a ton of money to do it, but you're right. That is in dire need.
Please.
Good evening, Council, Mayor. My name's Alex Rossi. I own 2 pieces of property on Main Street, the bakery at 1025 and the building next to it at 1029. I would like to express my support for the Engine 4420 project. I think it's a phenomenal asset to the community, as a lot of you have said. And frankly, I don't understand why you guys aren't, you folks, aren't supporting this wholeheartedly. It's like having a statue of the Founding Fathers, and we're trying to decide whether we're putting up a statue of the Founding Fathers and whether we can have a room for it or who's doing it. These guys are working there. I've been over there. I stood on that engine, and I felt the history, and it's a central part of what, in my opinion, what Evanston is, and we should support that wholly. Mr. Mayor, your comment about it being a courtesy to having them there, that to me, that demonstrates a different attitude than saying we're wholly in this. And I would encourage you as a council to be wholly into this and support these guys and give them what they need to make that work, and to have a place where they can work and not be bothered and not feel like they're in and out and being pushed around. And I think that's an important thing for Evanston, and I encourage the council to get behind it and to be cooperative through that process. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good evening. So my name is Greg Wilson. I live at 104 Broken Circle Drive. I have a couple things. The first one is, it doesn't seem like you're doing a very good job of communicating with us. You made a decision on the bid tonight, and we didn't see the bids. You had it, but we did not. That does not seem open communication or honest, transparent, a good democracy. I'm just going to say that and ask you to change how you do that. My real reason for being here is I am in support of these guys and Engine 4420. And I just learned last week about the old memorandum and a clause that you, Mr. Mayor, added. And last week you interpreted that clause, and I believe you said the engine can stay until something better comes along. Is that a correct interpretation of what you said last week?
I don't exactly remember what I said, but the engine has always been, I mean, that was been the understanding from the beginning of, it was be able to utilize Section 2 in the event another opportunity presented itself that was deemed worthwhile, then we would have to reconsider things. But, so
okay, something similar. Okay, so and then tonight you did say you let them in as a courtesy. I think that's a very insulting point of view and a lack of understanding of what actually goes on. I believe the Union Pacific gave that engine and the deed to the city of Wyoming, not to these volunteers. Ownership implies responsibility. If you own a chainsaw, you got to take care of it, or it falls apart and you don't get to use it. The same with this engine. You own it, you have a responsibility to take care of it. I think the current, I understand there's a new memorandum being written, and it's even more restrictive, and what's the word? Restrictive, disrespectful, and I think you have an attitude that says you don't want it. I have this sneaky suspicion that your attitude is you would like to see it cut up and hauled away with dump trucks. Seeing how you treated the equipment, the lathe and the forge that was out there, you did that removal in the middle of the night or late some Friday night with city employees hiding what you were doing from the people of Evanston. And again, that's not a good democracy. So what I would like to say, I've talked to a number of people, as many as I could in the past few days. It's not a lot. It's not a lot of time. Some of the comments I get are, he can't do that. He can't remove it. The city won't let him. The state won't let him. The Railroad Commission won't let him. People are thinking that somebody's going to protect them, and they don't get it, that there is no protection from what I gather. So what I would like to say is restoring, saving that engine, the benefit in Evanston. First, we know that engine is an integral part of the roundhouse. That roundhouse without the engine is just a building that you're turning into a strip mall. Same as you would see in thousands of other cities across America. No history, no meaning. That steam engine is an important reminder of the history of Evanston. The people that saved this town from becoming a ghost town, worked their asses off. You know, you guys know how many different shops were in that place. That engine was working all day long. I went there and looked at that engine, and yeah, I guess I'm sentimental, but I could hear the men working and talking. I could see and feel the sweat and the desire to keep things going, to keep the city alive. And that's, you know, that it turns out that engine is a visible, touchable, tangible reminder of how this town was saved by the spirit of the people at that time. So saving that engine is a way to listen to, honor, and respect the people of today's Evanston, because that's what they want. They expect it. A lot of people have said, in the city paying to get that fixed? And I had to say, no, it's not. It's a group of volunteers working on donations. And to me, you know, that's, you know, the benefits of having something that the people here can say, you know, that's where we came from, that saved us. And it's steaming along and making the noise and emanating heat, and you feel that steam engines breathe. When Big Boy was here, it was kind of like a living being. And this is our chance to have that very same thing. So the other thing I want to talk about benefiting Evanston is money. Ely, Nevada has steam engines, and for $10 you can go on a ride, but for $3,000 you get to be an engineer for a day. They teach you, you have to take a written test, and then they take you out and then teach you how to run the steam engine, and you run it up and down the tracks. $3,000? Woo! You're missing out, Mayor. It's also an attraction for people who don't do that, you know. And my problem is I see the future. I see way out there. I dream big. You'll hear my big plan in a minute. I can see us having the dining car and the caboose running and being pulled by that engine. We can have root beer from Suds Brothers, pie from the Pie Hole, pastries from the bakery, beer from the brewery, served on a little trip out and back. Do you know how attractive that would be? It's attractive enough that I think our memorandum of understanding should first be a big commitment by this city for their own engine, for their own benefit. And you should say, first on that memorandum, we're going to give this engine a permanent place in that roundhouse for the crew and the engine itself, for restoration and in the future for maintenance and operations. Steam engine needs a lot of maintenance. We also need to have a concrete floor and a proper workshop with safety equipment. We need lifting equipment. Nothing is lightweight on that engine. And sorry guys, but they're not spring chickens anymore. And we need more help than these guys. Money, that's what it means. You need to commit to putting money into this. We cannot do it on volunteer and donations. And I'm asking you, I'm telling you, I'm demanding as a voter, your boss, let's put some money into this project. The people of Evanston, what, if we have 12,000 people and they're willing to put $2 a month in, that's $24,000 a month, $288,000 a year. That's going to go a long ways. Otherwise, if you don't speed up the process, it is going to take forever, and you're going to get your wish. It will disappear. That's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else?
Mr. Mayor?
Please.
Regarding the bids, all of the notice of bids, the bid responses, and tabulation, those were all sent out in the packet and posted online. So all that information is available.
Thanks, sir. Please.
Good evening. I'm Mareka Rossi, 800 County Road 167, and also own the bakery and, the other building. I want to, first of all, thank you all for the work that you do. I know it's really hard, and all of this is very personal to each one of us who come up and speak to you. And so it's personal to you, too, because you're part of the fabric here. And I think that we would really benefit from talking to each other more. I still, in listening to all of these comments, don't understand why there's such a rift between the people who are trying to do this great thing for our town. And we, all of us, own that engine. And how much fun is that? And how much empathy is that for the past and the future and the present of who we are? It's part of the fabric of who we are. So why can't we talk to each other? There must be a better way of handling things like this. What's the problem? Do you want to talk about it? Because I haven't heard an answer tonight about why you have a problem with the engine being there and what's happening with it.
I said we could have a work session agenda. This is a public comment portion of the meeting. This is not necessarily for lengthy discussions. If you, we'll have other opportunities for time.
Actually, isn't it though? I thought that was the whole point of public comment.
You can tell us anything you'd like to tell us.
So it's a one-way thing? Is that what you're telling me?
It's the public comment portion of the meeting.
Just public comment.
And I don't know that that's the time to, we won't make any decisions now. That's not on, nothing's on an agenda.
No.
But you tell me what you'd like me to hear, and I'm listening.
Okay. So I love old things. I love old houses. I love fixing things up. I love making things new, bringing new life in. It's part of who I am. That's what we did at the bakery. People can come in and sit down on old furniture and see art. And I think it's really a needed part of who we are in Evanston. And we have people ask us almost every day, what can I do in Evanston? We wanted to come to Wyoming. We live in Utah. We wanted to come to Wyoming. What is there to do here? And I send people to the park. Now I'm going to send them to the engine. But people would pay to just come and see it, see the progress. It's a beautiful thing. We have done some amazing things in this city, and I commend you all for making the Roundhouse and all of those buildings nice, because we send people there for weddings, and we go to all kinds of things over there. I think it's amazing. And what is a roundhouse without an engine? Anyway, so I'm all for transparency, and let me know when the work session is, when we can have a long discussion about this, because as you can see, so many people are passionate about this. And we should be being good to each other. We're a small town. We should come together and really talk about why the good things are the good things and why we can't do other things. So my second question is, I'm really sorry, Mr. Schmidt, but I missed the beginning of what you were talking about with the state hospital. And I thought I heard you say that that land was being offered to Evanston. Is that true? Is that what I heard, or?
Well, I believe at the onset it was.
At one time, but not recently?
Not most recently that I've found, no.
Okay, I was just curious about that. And again, I'm sorry for being late. One last question. This is for you, Mr. Harris. You said something about the Safety in Public Places Act or something like that, that was something that we were going to be talking about. And can you tell me what that is?
Mr. Mayor?
Please, go ahead.
Ms. Rossi, it's a bill passed by the Wyoming legislature regarding designation of male and female restrooms and places open to the public.
So how is that going to affect me at the bakery? Our restrooms are for anybody, anytime?
This applies to public property.
Just public property? Okay. Just so you know, I think that's really horrible. Just my opinion. I love everybody. I think everybody should be able to be safe, and I don't think that makes everybody safe.
Thank you.
Thank you for hearing me, and thank you again for all of the hard work you do. I know that this has gone on for a long time, and I keep you all the time, so thank you so much for hearing me. I so appreciate it.
Thank you. Anyone else? No one else?
Hello.
Hello.
I know you guys from before. I'm Mary, the curator and the exhibit designer at the museum. I just want to make it really quick. I support these guys as well. I work at the museum. I hear people come in every day asking about the 4420. Where is the Railroad Museum? You know, so much. And it's kind of embarrassing to be a railroad town and not have railroad stuff. I mean, I have a space that's probably 10 by 20, and I'm trying to do an exhibit about the railroad. Okay, that's not much room for all that stuff. Okay, we need the 4420. If you look at Ely, Nevada, the Northern Nevada Railway, they have paid people running that place. They have, I don't know how many volunteers, 80 volunteers. They have trips. They have, look up Northern Nevada Railroad or Railway, and you will see what we could be doing. It's simple as that. And it's for the tourism. That's what we have. I see it every day when I go to work. People want the railroad. This is a railroad town. So, thank you.
Appreciate that. Anyone else? If not, we will adjourn. Thank you, everyone.